me return back in my district 1 year now. And all the hurricane blow last year and them them not keep I don't see.
Yes. Well, let's see what happens in the Northwest. Well, I know that's where you're from. You want Job Boss to win it.
If you win it, I'm a road. I demand not road and not push. If you I going to take a picture of
a picture of what?
The consequence quick, I'll send it for you. For a place now.
Constituencies. Constituency.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
And I want look here. Them look here. Them get money, but them use any constituency. So they want to make it look like this and get the money.
Yes, sir.
And we know, we have sense now. We have sense and know say this favorite and this orange and this not go work again.
Well, sir, the election soon come. Just wait a little bit and yes, yeah, Jamaica girl, I hear him so good. Let's move on. Take care of yourself, sir.
And tell Damian Crawford to stop. You know good. I'm a Wi-Fi.
Tell Damian Crawford to do what?
Tell Damian Crawford they must stop because jail fee. When him go and talk about ribbon, he want a muscle for him more. If he talking, he might drive same fee, nothing. He chat too much. He talk and talk. He talk with them about it.
Him says political banters. You know what is political?
Yeah?
All right, sir. Big up. Take care of yourself.
Come on, all right. Yeah.
My friend from Northwest Manchester. Who else do we have here now? Who else we have here? Reaper? Go ahead, sir.
So more to know why your unbiased opinion and the matter that is going on now with the social media post pertaining to the gentleman down there. Did you see it?
Raise your voice, sir, and let me hear you. You want to hear my opinion on that?
Yes, and the matter with the social media post that was going around. And the fact that he came out today and said it was one of his handlers. Where things should happen in this situation?
Yes. Well, I heard it on the news. The gentleman said that he was not the one that made the post. But I think he has taken responsibility for it and has apologized. Did you hear that?
I don't think a post like that.
Did you hear his apology?
Yes, but I don't think a post like that can be squashed by apologizing. Mm-hmm. There was no one in the comments. There was no one in the comment section being rude or being disrespectful. If you read to the thread, they were asking like, where was the drain and how wide was the road? The guy reply was that big and wide like his mom. Like, seriously?
Oh. No, don't repeat it, sir. Please.
And you tell me say, oh, through all of that, you just have to come out and say, oh, it was me, it was my handler. I'm sorry.
Well, not sufficient at all. I agree.
Who is the handler? No, nothing. The handler should be named then. Why didn't he come out and made an apology? It was just an handler. I don't buy. I think you should stand by. Remember, your name and your face on social media is you. If someone was to use your account, your official account, this year, and and made a statement, it will be solely on your feet. So when you're gonna
Yes.
come out and say, "Oh no," as somebody that have my account, that not mitigate anything, Mr. Newber.
Yes, sir. That is you're correct. You're correct, sir.
This is a serious matter coming from what was said before, and only saying that they're not gonna play this politics game. This will go down in the dump or whatever. This should happen. This should happen. Because if you have a handler, more likely the handler would have know how to conduct a state on a political platform.
Yes, sir.
I find this very outrageous. What I see, you could believe.
Yes, sir.
Then they appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right.
All right.
Take care of yourself. Maki? Go ahead, Maki.
You hear me?
Yes, Maki. Go ahead. How are you?
Not too bad. I listened to your notes, and I think it is spot on. I've always
Yes.
said it many a times before that I find in the last 3 election cycles, I have found the PNP supporters be very vocal, very, very exuberant, right? And oftentimes you find that these supporters are now the supporters who, as you like to put it, neighbor, the common man, right?
Yes.
I believe, though, what is different in this election with this election cycle and the Jamaica Labour Party is that despite what we might think generally, I've seen efforts made to reach the common man, meaning efforts to reach, provide them with things that are tangible. You know, the new social housing program is one of them. Efforts made at giving back some of the country's revenues in terms of a $10,000 grant there, a $20,000 grant there, and efforts trying generally to improve the employability of persons and the skills of persons. So I believe from just that standpoint, I believe the government will be rewarded for that. But as relates to
Well, that is why
the
I'm
GLP,
suggesting that.
you hear me clearly?
Very, very good. I'm good. Go ahead, Maki.
Yes. All right. So I think oftentimes where the GLP supporters are concerned, because they are conservative, you find that some of them maybe be working more on the road, more at school, so they're not captured into a vox pop or a poll, if I can use the term. And so, as you said, the true definition, the true strength and support of the Labour Party is really not seen. The issue is whether or not the GLP this time around can get a considerable level of more support, to come out to the polls this time. I would love to see a great.
Well, I don't know if my end is where the problem is, but Maki just went.
No, you hear me now?
Yeah, you are having a problem there, sir?
Hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Hear me, neighbor? Neighbor?
Yeah, man, I'm right here, sir. Yeah, man.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, but I believe that if the Labour Party is able to carry out, bring out more persons to the poll, which I believe they can do it. I'm seeing indications of it. It will give more definitiveness to their standing as a proper elected government, So I'm looking forward to that, neighbor.
Yes, sir. But I was also suggesting that the narrative that the PNP is the party that does more for the poor. Must not be allowed to stand.
I agree.
It must be taken on, Mr. Aptopitenli, Mr. Marlon Morgan. That nonsense must be destroyed, sir. That's not true.
Neighbor, as you have said earlier, you win elections by your ground game, right? And your machinery on the ground, and then by the air, right? I am yet to see. I envision the campaign strategy of the GLP to be a little more poignant this time. I'm just waiting to see how they roll it out, because I believe the points that you have made earlier, I believe they are cognizant of it, and efforts are being made to bring it along with the successes of the government over these 9 years really, to the fore of the people. So I'm looking forward to it. But I agree that it should not be allowed to continue. And this ideology that, from the 70s down is the PNP who look after the poor. It's a falsehood.
Yes. Okay. Very good, sir. Very good. Thanks, man. Take care, sir.
All right, neighbor. All the best to you and your family.
Bye. Go ahead, Winston.
Good evening, neighbor, and to your listeners. This afternoon, I saw a post on the PNP where a young lady from the platform were saying to the voters that electing a PNP party to government, they will do more for the poor, and they will let young people get better pay, etc., etc. But I am sure for certain that this young lady have no knowledge at all about economics, because it is all man organized to create the means of their subsistence. It means that you have to be skill trained, are well educated, and also be productive for anybody to pay you more. No one in the world will pay you more than what you produce. No businesses will ever come here and pay higher wages to anyone more than what you produce. You understand? And it is not government can just claim that they're going to come and pay more, because even the public sector is more. The economy have to provide the means so the government can pay public sector workers more. And if you have an inefficient public sector that are not producing at optimum, where is it that the government? So, as you say earlier on, that
Yes.
if the communication team of the JLP was active, the PNP could not win this narrative about that they done more for the poor. Because when last the PNP was in government,
No, sir. It is a.
when last the PNP was in government, the PNP government
Yes.
destroyed the means of taking care of the poor. So what the PNP did was create more poor people. They did not take care of them, but they create more. Because it is the economy that will enable the government to do more for the poor.
Yeah.
Okay? And if you don't have the economic base to do so, where are you going to get it from?
Yes.
You understand? In Jamaica, we are still not a country that's favorable to investment.
Well, we're getting better.
Some inroads have been made, but we still burdened with a high security costs. We still have great challenges with a high energy cost. We still have great challenges with low productivity. And you understand? And until we get these fundamentals right, neighbor, we're still kidding ourselves.
Yes, sir.
You understand? I hear Paul this afternoon criticizing Darrell Vaz.
Yes, but
go ahead, neighbor. I thought you said. Yeah, I'm saying that this afternoon I hear.
No man, go ahead. You go ahead.
This afternoon I hear Paul criticizing Darrell Vaz about the JP that Jamaican people are paying high energy costs. It is the Andrew Holness led administration that have done what they can do this far for in terms of energy. It is this government that reduced the GCT and energy costs. And there's nothing that the government can do at this time. Nothing more. Because in that contract that Paul was integral in signing, in a clause in it that the government cannot add any renewable to the grid. Minimal amount. Right?
Okay.
So this man is just being disingenuous in the least I can say. And I believe that the JLP need to come to the public and push back at this narrative. Put the facts on the table.
Yeah, I'm looking into it, sir. I must tell you the truth. I am looking into how is it? Why is there this disconnect between government performance for the poor and voter sentiments among that same group? I'm looking into it. I'm not so sure that I'll be finished with that for this week, but I'm looking into it. I want to examine why is it that perception remains in Jamaica, where the PNP is seen as the party that has done more for the poor, because the facts and the evidence do not bear that out.
Right, because what happened in the neighbor, we are seeing 1972 playing out again here in Jamaica. Maybe Mark Golding and his team do not have the communication capacity as a Michael Manley. But what Michael Manley did in 1972 is appeal to the psychological emotion of the Jamaican people. Because of the situation that they were in.
I saw something interesting today. I think the Labour Party is very smart with these buses. I was somewhere today when I saw one of the brand new buses roll up into the town and just park. And I think it is a campaign strategy, and I think it is public relations that the party is just, every time you see one of these nice buses on the road, all across Jamaica, it's going to resonate with people. People are going to remember that that's the Jamaica Labour Party that is doing this. But I was listening to the folks talking. And sir, I don't want to be discourteous, disrespectful. But I think a lot of Jamaicans are really backward in their thinking.
Yes, sir. Totally agree. 100%.
Backward in their thinking. And I don't know what it is that we can do.
And we are also ungrateful.
But it's part of the backwardness, sir. Because the brand new bus pull up in the town, and you would have thought that the people would have celebrated to say, look at what is happening in Jamaica. And if you hear the people them criticizing the thing, man, this is why, sir, I don't know. Sometimes I feel as if I would just give up on this country, Not tell you no lie.
Many times I feel that way. I felt that.
But no, sometimes I feel like why am I even up at on the space here?
Yeah.
Putting in my time to research and to facilitate and to teach. Why am I doing it? It comes sometimes it comes like a waste of time.
Waste of time.
Because when I heard those people today criticizing the boss, something that realize that the people in fling rock stone at the boss, sir.
Yeah. But let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened here, neighbor. And this is a word that I have crafted. We are a congregational society. What I mean with that, it is what passed down from the rostrum to the congregation. We do not study it. So even if an error is there, we run away with it. And we inherit that from slavery. And we still carry that out till today. So even when it's from the congregation to the political platform or the political audience, whatsoever been said, no matter how foolish it may be, from the political platform, we run with it from the political gathering without think about it or research it to find out if what they say makes sense. Because we are congregational people.
I hear the people talk about the government's move with them boss because country no want no boss, the country people no want no boss. The brand, I felt, how I felt, sir? I felt like I would have parked the car I was driving.
Yeah, and take
the
the
bus, I was feeling so proud. Yeah, so proud to see this nice, crisp bus pull up.
Yeah.
And I hear the people them running away, almost like say they're not happy. This is a backward set of people, man.
I never look at it this way. It is the very same people when they go on social media and they see a post from Burkina Faso where Ibrahim Traoré buying new buses for the people of Burkina Faso. These are the people who repost it and comment and jump and celebrate. And they are getting the very same thing here in their country and they are criticizing it. So you tell me how that makes sense. Tell me how that makes sense, neighbor.
I don't know how long I am going to be doing this, I can tell you. I don't know how long, because me not get no money for it. And me don't know if me I reach anybody. I don't know.
I think, my neighbor, let me tell you something. I really enjoy your program. I learn a lot from you, a lot. And I think you're really filling a void.
Well,
I wish I was in the position that I could sponsor the program. Because
that's all right.
It is not only for me, neighbor, but we definitely need program like these to cause the Jamaican people to listen and learn to think independent, learn to think rationally.
I said, sir, I saw the bus and I can tell you where I was when I saw the... And sir, what was proud? It was a lady driving it. A lady.
Yeah.
And a beautiful Jamaican girl drive the big old long bus, come park it up. Brand new.
Even when the Prime Minister and the Transportation Minister delivered the 93 last week. It was a female who drove the Prime Minister to Spanish Town.
Yeah. And sir, I admit, I'm not that stupid. I see the politics in it. I am telling you that the PNP would have done the same thing. You bring in brand new buses before an election, put them on the road, make people see them.
Yes.
Yeah, make people see them. I mean, listen to me. If the government never bring in no bus, and we will have pure old bus, who know that blame the government, say the government have pure old bus on the road, and who know that vote out the government.
I want to show you another point, neighbor, quickly before you.
Hold on. Yes. if the government had pure old bus on the road, the people would have complained, say, a pure old bus they have, vote them out, they can't buy new bus. Now that the government has bought new buses, then they should benefit from it politically. No, go ahead. Go ahead. You're not hypocrite. Go ahead. Hypocrite.
One of the criticism.
Hold on with that. But the point though, Winston, is that a large percentage of the population is disconnected to the realities of what is happening here. A large percentage of Jamaicans. Jamaica girl, can you come up, please? Come up, Jamaica girl. Let me go ahead, Winston.
Good evening, neighbor. Good evening.
Go ahead,
Good evening, Winston.
Good evening, HR. Final point, neighbor.
Good.
Final point, and let HR take the floor. One of the criticisms that they were laying at the Prime Minister's feet in recent times is that Prime Minister walk a cut ribbon, but the Prime Minister now bring in investment to create jobs. And today, the Prime Minister was in Trelawney, cutting a ribbon for a major development of over 1,000 hotel rooms. And this investment will also provide it. It will have a local studio to facilitate young and upcoming entertainers, and also those that in the business for a long time. And this studio will also open and facilitate other region as well, other region musicians. You know, the Prime Minister speak.
I'm going to look into it, sir. I'm going to look into it, sir. This disconnect. As I said to you earlier, the Labour Party needs to fight this narrative. It needs to fight it. It must not come out of this election without smashing this to the ground, destroying it. It is a lie. It is a lie, sir. And the Jamaican people are being lied to. They are being lied to. Right? This nonsense about PNP here for poor. No, cousin. It's Jamaica girl.
Neighbor.
Yes, Jamaica girl.
Just add to that point, neighbor.
Yes, neighbor, I'm here.
Hold on. I must take a... Yes, okay. You're going to have to talk to HR for a minute because I need to take a break. Here? I'll be right back.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
Afternoon, everyone.
So if I can just add to that point, Jamaica girl and neighbor, you see, I've said it several times before on different platforms that the Labour Party has done a poor job in mashing down that lie that the PNP is peddling to the Jamaican people that they're for the poor and the Labour Party is for the rich. There's no evidence that anybody can cite to prove that point. We have, as a party, we have allowed that lie to take root like cancer. And we should have mashed down that lie several years before, because that lie originated out of the 70s, you know. That's what the PNP used to demonize the Jamaica Labour Party back in those days. Now, if you want to see the true essence of the People's National Party, you have to watch what the People's National Party do when they're in government. That's what you need to look at. Don't watch what the comrades say, watch what they do. That is what you have to look at. Because the Labour Party has done more for poor Jamaicans in this country than any other administration, than the People's National Party. And I agree with neighbor, because we haven't done much as a party, as a movement, as a political movement. We haven't done much to destroy that lie that the People's National Party is peddling, that they're for the poor and Labour is for the rich. The PNP heap more debt on the backs of poor people than any other government in this country. Taxes, they heap more debt on the country and more debt on the people of this country. $16 billion in taxes, unnecessary taxes. They heap on the people of this country. Labour Party did they went through 10 budget cycles without imposing any taxes. 10 budget cycles, no new taxes. You go to the ATM to make your withdrawals, PNP tax it.
Yeah.
The common one that we know, uncard man, the common man in the street, uncard man, they are pushing card, PNP tax that.
And yeah, that would be a poor man, you know, that they supposedly love so much.
Exactly. So don't listen to what the People's National Party say. They are good at they're good at they make a good chat. But watch what they do, watch the actions, what they do when they are in government, because all their policies are inimical, they're detrimental to poor people.
And HR, I think perhaps that is exactly the strategy that the JLP has implemented. So instead of constantly going around to say, we are the party for the poor people, they have put it into action in terms of implementing policies and all of that. So I wouldn't necessarily agree with you that they haven't worked to destroy the narrative. I think they've probably just taken a different approach, and perhaps a lot of us.
But the thing, Jamaica girl, we have just taken stock, as a movement, as a party, we have just taken stock of that lie. Yeah. We should have been demonizing that lie years ago. That lie now, because that lie has taken root, as I said before, like cancer. And so the mashing down, the destroying of that lie should have been done years ago.
But I'm not
but HR, look at it, HR. It is this administration that has raised pension for pensioners. It is this administration that gives the largest public sector worker increase in the history of this country. It is this administration that raised pension, raised PAD program, and had more people to eat. So what more can the government do? It is this administration that reduce GCT and light bill. What more can the government do?
But Winston, you see where I'm coming from. I agree with you that the Labour Party has done well. No, that is not in dispute. But where I'm coming from, you see that PNP for poor and Labour for rich sentiment, that lie. It is coming from the 70s and 90s.
Yes,
so we should have been demonizing that lie long before. No,
but HR,
right? Because the more you tell, give me a moment, Scratchy. When you tell a lie, when you continue to tell a lie, it becomes a truth for some people. Yeah. Yes. A lie that goes unchallenged becomes truth for some people in the minds of some people.
You're correct.
If you don't have the mental fortitude to resist foolishness, it becomes your perspective.
Yes. Yes.
That is it too, HR. I think the JLP operates the premise that Jamaicans can think well. And it fails them time and time again, but it is clearly something that they believe in.
I believe that. I believe.
And the first one to run from the pavilion to say that Jamaicans are not well-thinking people. We are not.
Scratchy, go ahead.
Jamaicans are not smart people. And the first one to run from the pavilion and hold up my hand and say Jamaicans are not smart people. And I'll die on that hill.
I have told them numerous times. Go ahead,
just to add to the HR point, when I look at that whole argument about the Jamaica Labour Party is for the rich and the PNP is for the poor, that's just a totally mad argument. And any Jamaicans who have some form of sense, and if you have any great education level, you can dissect and see that is total madness. Because if you look at the fact that take a man like a Peter Bunting and a Mark Golding. Peter Bunting and Mark Golding together and they might be wealthier than the 49 member of parliament that we have,
Certainly.
We don't personally know anybody accounts, but I think that you just look at
the way. Yeah, man, they have mass amount of wealth.
Huh?
They have a lot of wealth. You're correct.
They have a lot of wealth, and when they represent the PNP, so the PNP, Mr. Crawford, remember when Mr. Crawford said that, Damien Crawford said that him can't understand how a poor man turn a labor right. Then if he wants Damian Crawford can't understand how a poor man turn labor right HR, that means him can't understand how a rich man turn PNP then. Him shouldn't understand that Mark Golden is wealthy. Mark Golden is considered a rich man. Peter Bounty is considered a rich man. So how him see them as a PNP. So the whole people argument about who support rich and who support poor are madness. The Jamaica Labour Party is the only government when they're in office. Every single sector of Jamaica feel the benefit of whatever the economy is pushing out. Whether you're from the upper class or the lower class. Everybody benefit in a some way, shape, or form.
But Scotchy,
every single Jamaican benefit.
But Scotchy HR, you remember that, you know, in leading up to 1972, you know, when the Jamaican economy was growing, you know, astronomically, right? And the country infrastructure was building out, right? To propel us forward as a country. Remember that the PNP campaign and that, you know, against that, you know, and the Jamaican people bought into it. And what proceed after that? Total devastation of what we achieved.
And Winston, that is what scares me so much, Winston, as a Jamaican, as someone who's a Jamaican citizen, someone who have my kids and my family in Jamaica, someone who invests in Jamaica. This is what scares me so much, Winston, because it happened in 1972 going for the third term, where the Jamaican people denied the Jamaica Labour Party after the country was such good economic part. It happened again in 1989 and Mr. Siaga was going for the third term. They denied us again. And so we come here again in 2025. Going for the third term. Let's see what Jamaicans really are going to do. Jamaicans really are going to deny the Jamaica Labour Party again.
So you tell me now.
Wait. Let us not drop the gun, guys. Jamaicans vote against their interests. Everything. You can count on Jamaicans to vote against their interests. Every single time. You can bet on it and win. You can count on us to vote against our best interests every single time. And win. Bet on it. You can bet the last dollar. And win big.
Look at the similarity. Look at the similarity of 1989 till this 2025. Michael Mandy did not present a manifesto to the Jamaican people. You know. He did not have nothing to tell the Jamaican people. And the Jamaican people, through the Michael Manley over Edward Siaga, that has delivered, that has repaired most of the damage that was done in the 70s. So HR, you are absolutely correct that we always vote against our best interests.
We have a government, folks. We have a government now. Unemployment insurance, never before in this country, instituted by the Labour Party.
Yes.
Pension payment for persons who are never part of the formal economy.
Yes.
Instituted by Labour. Students who have the capacity to go to university but are barred because they need guarantor. Labour removed that barrier so that poor people really can get loan to go to finance their education. Yeah?
So there's someone in the comments, a comrade, that says the JLP is singularly focused on the advancement of the business class. Now, while that is not 100% true, but sir, I just want to speak for a second. What grows the country?
But again, Jamaica,
what grows the country, sir? It must be the business class. These are the people who are opening businesses and employing people.
Jamaica operates off a market economy.
Exactly. So he says it as if it's a bad thing, but it cannot be a bad thing.
Jamaica operates off a market economy. So the government depends on the market from investors to create the jobs.
Precisely. That's exactly what I'm saying.
How many people think the government can employ?
The fact that he says that it is just so ridiculous to me, because what he's saying essentially is that he doesn't want the country to grow. Which fits into what HR just says, is that we will vote against our interests.
So these people seem like they still have a communist mentality. We operate off a market economy. That's why.
I don't know.
Investment like Prime Minister time for today could be able to come here
Winston and friends, they do not, the person who made that comment, they do not understand what free market economy means, or else, remember, it was the People's National Party that drove the business class out of this country in the 70s. They don't understand what small market economy means. They don't understand how to run economy. That party, the People's National Party, them drove the business class out of this country, which led to the crash of the country's economy. They don't understand the market economy, you know. They don't understand how to run it.
Clearly.
And crash. They run the business class of the country in the 70s and they crash our middle class in the 90s. And no country, HR, no country can be stable without a stable middle class. The middle class is what drives economic growth in any country across the world.
You know, I would like to ask this person, can poor people set up business and create employment?
Apparently.
When you are poor, you do not have access to capital, right? You do not meet the criteria to get a loan from the bank to start business, right? So the poor will have to depend on somebody who have resources, have access to resources, to create the means for you to get employment. And from there, you can earn some capital on your own and save up and start a small business of your own and grow yourself. That's how a market economy operates. So what can government do for the poor? And what can the poor do?
PNP has never steered this country through crisis, but they have always created crisis. FinSAC was a wholly grown local domestic crisis created by the People's National Party. We're just getting out of FinSAC now. The effects of FinSAC, we're just getting out of it now. But the effects of it still lingers in some pockets of the society. You get me? PNP never steer this country through crisis, never. Not one point in their governance, at no point.
You know what is quite
through crisis.
You know what is quite obvious, HR? I get to find out that there are a large majority of us who do not want to have a orderly society.
No.
We want to have a society where crime and violence rules supreme, where extortion rules, where we have a country that is overrun by drug lord and criminality. That's what we wanted. That's what PJ brought us to in the 90s, right? When the country was awash with drugs money and crime and violence get out of control. And we lost thousands and thousands of lives. And people flee. Some of the most talented and brightest of us flee this island because all hopes were shattered. And it seems like so many of us are that we like. Jamaica is trying to build back its brand and its reputation once more in the world. And enemy like Uno want to destroy it again.
You see, and that is why I have no interest in it. I don't have the bandwidth to sit down and talk to comrades because all they've come with is some little foolishness. Some little, but really not work the time, and I don't have the patience or the bandwidth to deal with it. So I really don't have conversation with tiki comrade because it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense.
So this person is talking about dollar. And when you have concern about the dollar, since you have concern about the dollar, it is Peter Philip who stood up in the parliament when he was finance minister and said it is okay for the Jamaican dollar to depreciate because to make Jamaica export cheaper. Are you forgot that? Were you not around when Peter Philip made that statement? So why is it that you never concerned about the slide of the dollar then? And it is this administration have kept the dollar the most stable of all when the dollar starts slide.
What you see, Winston, in addition to that sliding dollar argument, We have 328 people on the line right now, and I'm sure you don't understand why the Jamaican dollar is the way it is. The reason why we have a sliding dollar at the current moment is because of the People's National Party and Michael Manley, who liberalized the dollar when he was in his first term with the proper prerequisites in place. He liberalized the dollar, you know, Manley, against good advice. He was advised to wait until the country has sufficient reserves and the requisite guardrails in place before you go and liberalize the currency. It did so without those guardrails in place. So when Jamaicans in 2025 are talking about dollar slide and dollar not stable and this, that, and the third, they do not understand the history and why we are in the predicament with our dollar at the moment. It is because of the People's National Party.
And to add to that HR, the demand for the dollar, Jamaicans need to also understand that, guys, the demand for the US dollar is always in a higher demand when it comes to back to school HR and Christmas season. There's a higher demand for US dollars. So if that enough US dollars is not in the market, they're gonna see a slide, and the Bank of Jamaica now will have to intervene and pump more US dollars in the market. Because back to school, people are buying goods to shop. There's a high demand for US dollars. Christmas time, there's a high demand for US dollars. Certain time of the year, debts are due. There's a high demand for US dollars because these debts are paid in US currencies.
Yes. I want Andrew to teach the coach to implement.
Queen, hold on a second for me. Scratch it.
Yeah.
I am jumping out for a minute to do something. I'll be online, but I'm delegating to you now. I'll soon come back.
I want the government to implement finance and how the dollar work in the economic for these people to stop coming on the internet and making themselves such a fool and so uneducated. It is a shame. I don't care how you teach them night after night, as neighbor said, you don't know how long it could take. You're educating them about this and them still coming underneath in the box, underneath the comment and still saying foolishness. And it's a shame. Even if I give it to them at layman terms, it's sad.
But Queenie, I'm gonna say something to you, Queenie and Winston and HR. HR, you know that right now, the IMF is advising the government that they must not intervene in the market and allow the dollar to run go to $200.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, that statement was made.
That is the information that the IMF is pushing to the government to stop intervening and just allow the dollar make it run.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And that will be a problem to the Jamaican people.
Exactly. That is what the government is telling the IMF that we can't do that.
IMF come out the other day and say that all the other fundamentals are okay, but they have a concern with the Bank of Jamaica intervening in the foreign exchange market.
Because, Winston, there's a lot of countries around the world, Winston, who purposely devalue the dollar. You know. China is one. China is great for that. That is China's main thing. China's main thing, HR, is to devalue their dollar. Japan, other countries. No, why China devalue their dollar? Because China is a big exporting market. They do that so that they have an advantage in the export market.
Yeah, man. Japan to South Korea.
Yes, all of those countries do that so that they want to have a advantage in the export market. No, look at Jamaica now. Jamaica, it will be good, yes, the dollar is depreciating, yes, but we don't export enough.
And not only that alone, what happened is, Scratchy, although those countries export a lot, those countries produce most of what they consume.
Exactly.
We don't produce what we consume.
You see?
So every time we have a consume, we have to find the US dollars to buy what we want to consume. So we do have that luxury. So we have to balance the equation carefully.
For a small island service economy like Jamaica, that policy wouldn't work for us. And it's not the first time the IMF has tried to inveigle Jamaica to pursue policies against its best interests. in the 80s when Siag was in government, and he went to the IMF to get a facility, an extended fund facility from them, and they advised him to cut this and cut that and devalue the currency.
Yeah, man, I remove the peg from the dollar.
Right. Siagas asked them, point me to a country where that has worked and it was successful. So Jamaica, we should be grateful that we had a prime minister in Edward Siaga, because Jamaica was better for having him as prime minister.
Yes, because they have
Jamaica profited significantly from having Siaga as PM when we had him.
And guys, let me say something to you. Jamaica is not new to having high cost of living. Throughout the whole entire 90s, from the pegging of the dollar was removed, Jamaica is known to have high food costs. Because I remember in the 90s as a young boy, your parents sent you to shop with $20 this evening, and tomorrow evening that $20 could not buy the same amount of food. Because by 7 o'clock news of morning, the food item will be raised again.
All right, guys.
Hello, user. Let me say something before we come off of here. While we're talking about taking Andrew to court, him to call the election and his brother, let me tell you something, PNP. If you don't feel say when this election card is back, is the 90s election, it not go work. We don't have a next guest coming. The Prime Minister of Jamaica got discipline, you know, to unruly, you know, want discipline. You know, jumping up or call election like you know things in the 90s when dead man have vote and cripple and thing. It don't go work. Things and time change. Andrew I got discipline, you know, want discipline, you know,
Thank
to
you so much,
unruly. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Bye. Scratchy?
Yeah, blessed Mr. Perkins. Oh, no, I mean Mr. Neighbor. I was calling him Mr. Monty Perkins earlier, and I mean Mr. Neighbor.
Are you now on the island, sir? Are you now on the island?
No, I'm waiting on the date, neighbor. I'm waiting on the date. Remember I told you, I won't be long, just a couple of days and move again.
Okay, that's fantastic.
So I need not bad, neighbor. I'm here. Just coming in off the road and I say are you live and I come on, and there you go and take in, and I listen up. Always nice to listen to your neighbor,
Yes, sir. By the way, Inspiration had asked me to tell you to call him. Did he reach out?
Yes,
to you?
I saw him today. Me and him was on the way. We were both on the road today.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we were both on the road today. It's Inspiration. Offering some work to my company.
Well, yeah. I hope you make some money.
Most definitely.
Hope you make some money.
Remember, we have big plans. So what's up?
Plans. Yes.
What's up? What's on the agenda?
Stay with me, Scratchy.
Yeah, man, I'm here, man. I'm your neighbor.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, I. Okay. We have official. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir. Well, that's that. We're not so sure about that person. Let's take him down. The girl has this one.
I'm back.
William? Neither him. Why people have been telling me that these people who are coming up in the box are this you are going to come up in the box, you have to send a message in the chat to say you are one club. Or we're not going to take you up because most of the people are not realizing that they're in the box. Carl? Here you go. Wow.
But remember, in regards to the devaluation strategy, in regards to the devaluation strategy that Winston was speaking about, I recall having a conversation with one of their representatives at the time, and I was expressing how displeased I was with how things were going and how the dollar is going up. And he said, "Don't worry, man, don't worry about it. It's just a devaluation strategy and it's gonna work and yada yada yada." You know what that person did, neighbor? Leave Jamaica, go Canada. And got married to a man, couldn't manage the stress either. Couldn't manage the stress.
Well, no, I don't think my internet is bad here. I'm having very good signal on my end. I don't know what's happening on the other end. I don't know what's happening on the other end. On the other end. Okay.
Any country at all in the world, or most countries at all in the world that does business or does trade with the US dollar, and the US dollar is the most used currency that is used to trade. At some point in time, those countries face the same thing that we are facing, devalue, where the dollar is sliding. Now it is up to you. Do you intervene or do you allow the dollar to just slide? Now with Jamaica market, the government has to intervene. The government has to intervene because the devaluing of a dollar more benefit when you're an exporting nation or a manufacturing nation neighbor, like China, Japan, those countries. That's why they don't want, that's why the yen can value nothing and they don't mind.
And the whole matter of inflation, Scratchy.
Inflation again, neighbor, is also another great big factor again.
Okay.
So it's just about, it's a matter, neighbor, we have to understand in Jamaica, neighbor, how we shop and how we are not that seasonal. Goods and service, goods, neighbor, most goods, demand for goods, neighbor, in right now coming into the back to school, neighbor, there's going to be a demand for goods, right? For school goods. There's going to be a demand for school supplies, neighbors. So that's automatically, neighbor, it's going to lead to a demand, a rise in the US dollar. Persons are going to need more US dollar now more than ever because persons are buying goods overseas to come back and sell for back to school. So yes, we're going to see a rise in the demand for US dollars. Don't good thing, neighbor. We have $5.8 billion on a BOJ sit down. So we can intervene in the market. But imagine if we couldn't intervene in the market like back in the 90s. So anyway,
in other words, the NIR is sufficient that the government.
Yes, neighbor, government, we're in a good position, neighbor. We have over $5 billion in the NIR, neighbor. Where the government can intervene at any time. The Bank of Jamaica can intervene whenever there's a shortage of US dollars in the market. There will always, neighbor, there's going to always be a shortage of US dollars in Jamaica market, neighbor. US dollar, neighbor, is not our main currency.
Correct.
It is not our main currency, neighbor. So, and it is a currency that we use to do trade and business outside of Jamaica. And majority of the companies in Jamaica, neighbor, they go outside of Jamaica for goods and things to come back in Jamaica to sell. So there's going to always be a demand for you. Eagles in downtown, neighbor, they need US dollar enough to in the neighbor. The Eagles in downtown, Kingston in the neighbor.
Right. No, Scratchy, move on a little and tell me.
Yeah, sure.
How you see the election shaping up now, Scratchy? Your political instincts and insights, fantastic. How you see the election from here on? I don't know if you were listening to the forecast last evening.
I mean, yes, neighbor, definitely, neighbor. As I told you before, neighbor, it's straight go for the Jamaica Labour Party, neighbor. And what I banking on, neighbor, we have always. What kind of which name that? I don't even want to call a name. Which name that? Sir, so,
It's Ricky, sir. Ricky.
Oh, it's Ricky. A class here, sir.
It's Ricky.
Wait, chat, you guys not tapping the screen, you know. Come on,
yes, neighbor. Back to your question now, neighbor.
Been on for a while.
It's definitely advantage. It's definitely advantage, JLP, neighbor. But what I am most happy about, neighbor, and what keep me going, neighbor, and pushing and believing that this election will definitely be advantage, JLP, His
Yes.
neighbor. I have never seen neighbor. I have my first election neighbor that I could ever cast my vote legally was 2007.
Okay.
That was the first time I could cast a legal vote, 2007. But I research and follow politics, neighbor.
You cast illegal ones before?
No, I've never cast an illegal one before, but, but what I'm saying, neighbor, though, I have never seen neighbor, the undecided, motivated towards a government neighbor that is seeking a third term. No, because I said in the neighbor, the undecided persons who doesn't normally turn out to vote, neighbor. These persons, neighbor, are swinging towards the Jamaica Labour Party. No, neighbor, the reason why we don't see these persons coming out big in the polls and talking out loud, neighbor, they're undecided in the neighbor. One slight thing can change their mind, you know. Them back in the undecided block.
Yes.
You know? So most of these persons, neighbor, are keeping their thoughts close to their chest, and they're just bringing it all down to the wire, neighbor. And it's up to the government, neighbor, the Jamaica Labour Party, to continue on the part that it is on, call the election when they're ready, and let's see where they decide to go. But I strongly believe, neighbor, and I know I have never, and anybody can attest to this, I have never seen the undecided this motivated towards a governing party, neighbor, that is seeking a third term. I have not seen any fatigue towards the undecided.
What is this anxiety of the PNP, Scratchy? Always calling for election, calling. Why can't they wait? What is the hurry?
Neighbor, in 2020, neighbor, the PNP was always, they said, listen to what they did in 2020. Call it. Neighbor, sometimes they had the election call and then get the beating. They call the election in a pandemic. That is so rare. These guys are just gimmicks, neighbor. These guys are just, the People's National Party, neighbor, is a gimmick party, neighbor. This is not the political party, neighbor. These guys they're just there for the constitutional sake, this election, and we have to have 2 or more political parties going into the race. That's just why they're just taking up space, neighbor. But the People's National Party, neighbor, they are stuck.
They're what?
They're stuck, neighbor. They're not gaining any form of traction against the undecided or persons who they're only campaigning towards their base. They're only campaigning towards their base, and that's a strong message to me, neighbor. I don't want to know that my alternative government or the person who I think the opposition, my opposition neighbor, who is campaigning, neighbor, is only campaigning towards one demographic that diehardly supported them. So when you turn government, you're going to tell me that those are the only persons you're going to give your support to them. Because I don't see you campaigning. I don't see you campaigning to the wider Jamaica.
I don't know if you listened to the notes. I was suggesting that what you see at the PNP meetings is the best the PNP can put on show. But what you see at the Labour Party meetings are just a sprinkling of Labour Party support. Would you agree with me, Scratchy, that Labour Party support is largely upper middle class among the working class people, and that these people don't really come out to meetings?
Exactly. Actually, the upper middle class neighbor support the Jamaica Labour Party. Persons who sometimes neighbor, the time span of these meetings might not correspond with their bedtime and to go wake up to go to work again in the morning and stuff like that, you know, and different stuff like that. The Jamaica Labour Party neighbor, that is why sometimes we don't get the feedback that we are looking for in these polls, neighbor. Because when these polls are pulled up in a community or wherever 12 o'clock in the afternoon, Jamaica Labour Party supporters are nowhere in these communities at this time. We're at work.
I made that point that the Labour Party support in polls are always under measured.
Yes. Labour Party supporters are at work. You know what they need to start the polls, neighbor? They need to start going to workplaces under the polls.
Yes, Rachi. Yes.
And Blue that need to start going to the organization and the workplaces in Jamaica to conduct these polls. And start going to these Eiger bombs, Eiger people who sit down and don't know what they're talking about and confuse these people to say yes and justify it. Say yes, this is how Jamaica is feeling. And it is not.
It is absolutely not. In other words, the people who they are finding home are the people who have decided that they don't want to work, and they're largely PNP supporters.
Largely PNP supporters, and they're the persons, neighbor, who don't like rules and regulation. They're the persons who are against the government because the government don't want to strict up now. Them can't go down and go take off no car again. They are this is the government neighbor that change up all that stuff neighbor. I never seen nothing dropping in Jamaica yet, and I see the Jamaica Labour Party drop bus fare.
Yes.
I never see them. I never see them think they're dropping in. I never see them go up to 100 and then come back down in Jamaica.
So is advantage Labour for you, Scratchy, going to a third term?
Advantage Labour going for a third term, neighbor, but at the same time, neighbor, we cannot get complacent, neighbor. We have to remain strong because, neighbor, we live in a country. Jamaica is a country, neighbor, where, neighbor, as much as we say yes, Labour and everything, neighbor, persons vote on different reasons. I always tell before, neighbor, JLP supporters in the neighbor, they're easily turned off as well in the neighbor. Supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party, neighbor, they are easily turned off. They are easily turned off, neighbor. So look, we have seen it more than one time, neighbor. We see the momentum build and then come close to the election and the day of the election and we see the whatever happen. We are shocked.
Yeah. How is the ground game, Scratchy? How is the ground game for the party? You think they are well organized on the ground and their workers are in place?
That is really, and that is where the elections are won, neighbor, on the ground on the day. Now, one thing I must commend the Jamaica Labour Party for, neighbor. Every single candidate from the from the Jamaica Labour Party, neighbor, all 63 of them went to the headquarters of the Jamaica Labour Party and they picked up their paraphernalia, they picked up their posters. No, neighbor, that is organization at its best, that in a neighbor. When you have a political party, neighbor, and a political party print flyers and posters for all 63 candidates to go into their constituency and put up.
So all these signs that we see putting up there, is the party printed?
Printed by the party, neighbor. They all went to the party and pick up headquarters and pick up they pick them up.
For all 63? For
all 63. If you notice how they are built, all 63 are candidates who might think don't stand a chance of them.
Okay.
That is organization, neighbor, at its finest. Yes. And that is what the Jamaica Labour Party have over the PNP. Jamaicans, neighbor, are used to noise, you know. So you see, if we not make noise, Jamaica think nothing will go on. But the Jamaica Labour Party is taking a different approach. Neighbor, totally different approach the Jamaica Labour Party is taking. We are not loud, we are not loud and just loud out there. It is being done in a cordial way, neighbor. It is being done in a respectable way, neighbor. It is being done in a boardroom type way, neighbor. A lot of things is going on, neighbor, that we, the supporters, are not aware of. And we don't need to be aware of it neither, because these are internal stuff that need to be done by the executive. And it is being done, neighbor. Trust me. Different government.
The anxiety, thank you. The anxiety among your supporters, the supporters of the Labour Party, that the election ought to be soon. You think we are near an announcement, Scratchy, and near?
Yes, neighbor. I think we are close to the election. Neighbor. My reason for saying that again, neighbor.
Well,
we have seen where there were some discrepancies in some seats. We've seen now where majority of the seats now are second now, neighbor. All the seats are now second, neighbor.
Yes.
We see now, neighbor, where the party itself, neighbor, have issued campaigning paraphernalia to the campaigners, to the different candidates to go in their constituency. And once you see things like that, neighbor, from the governing party, it is sign that yes, the time is near. The time is very, very close. I think the Prime Minister is going to bring us into the independence celebration, neighbor, and after the independence celebration, we might have a general election.
You think it's an August election?
I definitely think it's an August election, neighbor. I think we're going to have a grand gala, big, tight, nice grand gala, big celebration, and after grand gala, the Jamaican citizens will go to the polls.
At this point, Scratchy, how many seats you think the Labour Party will likely reach?
I'm looking at it, neighbor. And I'm looking at it by parish, neighbor. And the only parish right now, Westmoreland, I look at Westmoreland a bit tentative. I'm not scared or anything. We won that seat in 2024. We won Westmoreland in 2020 for the first time in many, many years, neighbor. I mean, have we done anything down there? Yes, we have done a lot. We have done a lot, neighbor. We have done a whole lot in Westmoreland, more than the People's National Party has ever done in their how many years of having that parish, neighbor. They had a prime minister for much years. I still saw that Westmoreland suffered a lot in terms of basic amenities. We have seen where this government has gone down in their neighbor. We have given them roads. We have given them water. We have given Westmoreland a whole lot, neighbor. And I think Westmoreland will come out and definitely show the Jamaica Labour Party that this is what we're rewarding you guys back for the good work that you have done to us, that you have given us the things, the road, the water, etc. I think, neighbor, Westmoreland, anywhere Jamaica, anywhere we have problem, neighbor, it's gonna be Westmoreland. I don't think we're gonna lose any other parish certain way. The only parish I see us losing, if we lose any parish, is Westmoreland. And I see that, and it's advantage JLP same way, neighbor, because you know my style, neighbor. I always give the incumbent the advantage in these constituencies. So it's definitely Westmoreland I see.
Yes.
Well, I'm not pleased. You go ahead, neighbor.
Yes, I spoke earlier about the reason probably why the PNP is able to attract these, reasonably large gatherings and very enthusiastic. Is the Labour Party concerned about the PNP's ability to campaign so vigorously at this time? Is there any concern in the party?
I don't think it's going to be of a concern. I think it is expected, neighbor. We're down to the wire. It's an election here. We're down to the wire. This is expected. You're going to expect that vote, that the both base of both parties, neighbor, they're energized, they're ready. You know Jamaica, neighbor. I was speaking to someone today, and they talked to someone in Jamaica today, and the person said to me, I can't wait to sports day. And I was saying, sports day, what do you mean? And I said, election day, Jamaica sports day, like when they're going to school. So yes, neighbor, both sides are motivated. I expect that from the People's National Party. But on the election day, neighbor, I expect the Jamaica Labour Party to come out with an overwhelming victory. Trust me.
You do. And Scratchy, the party would have performed to earn a third term. Do you think that the performance of the party is what it should campaign on, or do you think that it should put to the Jamaican people a set of ideas that it intends to do in the third term, should they get that term? What is your view on that?
I mean, going into the third term, neighbor, a third term is never easy. The Jamaica Labour Party has never won a third term in the history of Jamaica, neighbor. We're in uncharted territories, neighbor. We are seeking something that we have never done. We have attempted it 2 times and failed before, neighbor. This is our third time going for it. I think that, yes, neighbor, when you look at 1972, Jamaica Labour Party had a lot to campaign on as well. From 1962 coming up to 1972, they had a lot to campaign on. I wasn't around at that time. I didn't have a direct idea of the campaign, but I suspect that they would have campaigned on what they did and what they have done, and it cost them the election. Again, neighbor, we attempted 1980 to 1989 again. We tried to go for a third term again, Mr. Siaga this time. He was booted going for that third term after doing a wonderful job in Hurricane Gilbert in the recovery. Again, neighbor, this Labour Party is a total different Labour Party from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, neighbor. This is a total different Labour Party, neighbor. Different mechanism, different leadership, different thinking, everything, expertise, the skill set that is there is perfect, one-on-one, wonderful. So I think, neighbor, the government is going to gauge it. The Prime Minister said, yes, we didn't have to come with an election budget because we have enough. We have done enough that we can campaign on, neighbor. Let's talk about what we have done, neighbor. $200 billion, neighbor, added to the compensation package of public sector workers, neighbor. Never done before in the history of Jamaica, neighbor. Never. That was something that was on the books for 30 years, neighbor. Previous governments tried to attempt it, but both governments were failed. It was Andrew Holness government to take it up, neighbor, and install it and bring it to fruition. We also saw, neighbor, where the Minister of Transport said for the first time in maybe history, how many years, JUTC finally made a profit.
Yes.
The Minister is saying that first time in how many years JUTC now have a profit. And we have seen it in other sectors, neighbor. We have seen, neighbor, no other government, neighbor, in the history of Jamaica, neighbor, has never done more for rural Jamaica than this Andrew Holness-led Jamaica, neighbor. Rural Jamaica, neighbor, has gotten more attention, neighbor, than ever from any other government.
Okay. And then Scratchy, there are those who would ask, why is it that it hasn't resonated more among many Jamaicans? There still seem to be so many Jamaicans that feels that that time come. How comes?
I mean, yes, neighbor, there's always going to be that sentiment, neighbor, that Jamaicans who are not. Remember, the neighbor, we have about 3 million persons living in Jamaica. I roughly about 3 million, neighbor. And no matter what the government do, neighbor, no matter what, even supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party, some persons are not happy with whatsoever because they might think that the government is not in line with their vision or what they might think is right. And we have to understand, neighbor, we grew up in a two-party country, neighbor. No matter what, neighbor, the opposition will always have its supporters, neighbor. The opposition will always have its supporters. We can't
Both
stop
sides.
that,
Both sides, eh?
Both sides will always have their supporters, neighbor. We are never going to ever stop that. We're never going to ever see Jamaica just come in monarch politically, neighbor. No.
Quite true. Quite true. There seems to be very high voter sentiments toward the Jamaica Labour Party. Scratchy, you observed earlier that you have never seen it this high in terms of motivation among Labour Party comrades and the undecided.
Exactly.
You are saying that the voter you have also said, Scratchy, that you are expecting a very high voter turnout, and that should we see a high voter turnout, you think it's going to favor the government?
All right, yes, neighbor. That's what I tell you, neighbor. This election, neighbor, is going to be one for the books, neighbor. This election, neighbor, is going to defy a lot of odds. It's going to show up a lot of different. It's going to go against a lot of norms. It's going to go against a lot of patterns. A lot of these so-called pollsters are going to be shocked, just like in 2020. But they use 2020 and say, okay, we got an anomaly. It was COVID. Well, this time it's not an anomaly. There's no COVID this time. We're going head on. Everything is all right, neighbor. Yes. If we, neighbor, should see, in 2007, neighbor, we had a voter turnout of 60%.
Yes.
And the Jamaica Labour Party won that election. That voter turnout, it normally says that a majority voter turnout, neighbor, normally tend to benefit the opposition.
Yes.
And a low voter turnout tend to benefit the governing party. Yes. But this election, neighbor, it's going to be different, neighbor. Once you see, neighbor, high voter turnout come this election, I'm expecting to see about 60% voter turnout this election in the neighbor. 60, sir? Yes, I am expecting to see over 60% voter turnout this election, neighbor. And this 60% neighbor.
What will be driving that enthusiasm?
Neighbor, if you live in Jamaica, neighbor, where I live in Jamaica, neighbor, a lot of persons tend to say that they are not voting, neighbor, because they don't see what the government is doing. What am I voting for? Neighbor, this government has given every single person in Jamaica a reason to go and dip them hand in that ink.
Yes.
Every single Jamaican this government has given the chance, has done something where you can see even tangible stuff, neighbor. Not just stuff where you can say, yes, that is going and the economy is going and you can't see it. Tangible stuff, things that you can touch, things that you in your everyday life. And you see this rural bus system, this rural school bus system, it's a game changer, neighbor. Trust me, neighbor. If you come 3 o'clock on election day, neighbor, if you see the voter turnout, it's at 50% at that time, 55, it's game over. Blow out PNP get, neighbor. A high voter turnout, neighbor, which show that Jamaicans are showing appreciation for the road projects that they have, the Spark program, the Reach program, neighbor, the 100 water projects that is currently going on, neighbor, the compensation package, neighbor, the increase in minimum wage from 2016 to the present, neighbor, and a lot more, the buses, neighbor, everything, the social housing programs, neighbor, the pension programs, neighbor, the solidarity programs, neighbor, how can go on and on. Every single person in our society, neighbor, has benefited in some way, shape, or form. It's either directly or indirectly you have benefited. The threshold increase. A lot, neighbor. A lot.
And you also mentioned, Scratchy, that the rural areas are where the elections are won. St. Catherine, Kingston, not much change will happen there. Yes?
Exactly. The elections, neighbor, will be won in rural Jamaica. Neighbor, Kingston and St. Andrew is not going to change. St. Catherine is not going to change. The elections, neighbor, will be decided in rural Jamaica. Now, with that said, neighbor, which government, as you ever seen in the history of Jamaica, who have invested so much in rural Jamaica, neighbor? Tell me.
Well,
tell me, neighbor. No, neighbor. There's not one government in the history of Jamaica who have done more for rural Jamaica than neighbor. Which government has ever had 100 water projects going on one time? Where are these water projects going on? Are they going on in Kingston and St. Andrew, majority of them?
No.
No, neighbor, they are not. They are going on down there in Duncan, Trelawney.
Yes.
Down in St. Elizabeth, round one part. Those are the places, neighbor, whenever I have water for 30 or 40 years, neighbor, and you get water now, and you're going to tell me that you're still going to say you don't see what the government doing for you? Come on, man. Neighbor, the SPARK program, neighbor, is a game changer, you know. Neighbor, can you tell me where the SPARK program was launched?
In Philip Paulwell's constituency.
So all persons are saying that the Prime Minister is doing this for election. Because the election is coming, the Prime Minister is doing all of this, neighbor. When he launched the project in Philip Paulwell constituency, neighbor.
Yes.
Come on, neighbor, man. Guys need to understand. Nothing, neighbor. There's nothing that the government is currently doing right now, neighbor, is as a result because there's an election coming in this year. Nothing, neighbor. Everything was already being done, neighbor. It's either it was in procurement process or it was in some negotiating stage. Nothing, neighbor, was nobody. The government don't just come and say, yeah, we're going to do this election will come next week. Neighbor, the 100 buses that we get for this rural school program, that was in negotiation, neighbor, before election. Yeah. To talk about.
You don't think it's coincidental?
It's not.
Huh. Okay.
It's not, neighbor. It is planning and things take time, neighbor. If the Prime Minister said it, neighbor, a lot of the things that the Prime Minister that's going on was in industry, was in planning stage 2 years ago.
But you don't think that they would have delayed the elections for the manifesting of these things, that they would benefit from them politically, and nothing wrong with that?
And nothing is wrong with that if that is the case, because it is politics, and in politics, neighbor, there has to be some form of politicking.
Absolutely. In other words, sir, if you see a yellow bus on the road and you say a Labour Party bring that in and you want to vote for them, that is perfectly okay.
Perfectly okay, neighbor. That's why I go back to the point, neighbor, where I say that everyone, neighbor, has benefited in some way, shape, or form from some program, policy, or program that this government has introduced to us.
Yes.
Neighbor, if you have a child who's going to school, neighbor, the rural school bus teams, it benefits you.
I understand it's $50 to get on it, sir.
It's $50, neighbor, $100, neighbor. You have persons who are currently paying $600 per day. And that is madness. And neighbor, trust me, neighbor, I want the well-thinking Jamaicans, neighbor, to just understand that. Sometimes, neighbor, Jamaicans, neighbor, are saying that things are just too good to be true, and too good to be true. You know, Jamaicans are thinking anything too good to be true, not true. So that is what they're basically using against the Prime Minister. They can't believe that there's someone who come and who genuinely love and want to see the benefit and the well-being of the country and all the citizens of the country.
Yes, sir. It has been a fantastic time for Jamaicans, and I am sure that, well, I hope you are saying, sir, that you think that they will reward the Prime Minister. Do you think, Scratchy, maybe finally, that this is an election dominated entirely by Holness, or is it the Jamaica Labour Party? Do you think Holness is the man that is carrying the party?
All right, neighbor. The Prime Minister is the man. Of course, the Prime Minister is the man carrying the party. He's the leader of the party and he's the Prime Minister of the country. And that is why you see a total contrast and difference between the Prime Minister and the opposition leader. Because the opposition leader doesn't have the capacity, the skills, nor the ability to lead his party. That's why you see they're failing behind. Now, this Prime Minister, neighbor, yes, he's very popular. This Prime Minister, he can talk, neighbor, he can talk to the command man, he can talk to the topper man, he can talk to anybody. His presence is felt. When you see him, neighbor, you look at him, you can see that this man is really and truly in charge. Anywhere you go, neighbor, you can put Andrew right there and put 5,000 more men beside him, and you can point and say, that is the Prime Minister. Just by looking at him, you can see that this man is in charge. This man is the man who have the wheel in his hand. Without a doubt, neighbor, but yes, neighbor, credit to the Prime Minister, but again, we're comparing apples with apples, neighbor, because we're going into a general election. When we look at our slate of candidates now, neighbor, yes. Take out our Prime Minister out of it, neighbor, and look at our Next, 62 candidates compared to the PNP 62 candidates. Take out their leader. Neighbor, we have let's look at our caliber of people compared to them.
I think in previous elections, especially under Siaga, the candidates were not attractive at all.
Weren't attractive, but neighbor, and this is one thing that neighbor, anybody can see, this PNP slate, neighbor, is the worst candidate that the PNP has ever put forward in the history of election in Jamaica, you know.
Yes, is that so?
Neighbor, we're the bag of liar them there. We're the bag of this, that there. This is not the People's National Party. Neighbor, who tell me you try to build a cabinet out of the People's National Party, and you cannot build a cabinet. There's not enough board to build a cabinet. If you do build a cabinet, some chichi board and chichi go eat it. Bagas board is not good.
There's not enough board to build a cabinet?
Yes, the PNP doesn't have enough board, nor nail, nor glue to build a cabinet, neighbor.
They are boards, sir?
Yes, so be a plank by board them, the neighbor, man. Supply board them there.
The members of the PNP, they are board?
Enough to build a cabinet. They cannot build a cabinet. They don't have any glue, they don't have any nail, they don't have any tape, they don't have any saw, they don't have nothing, neighbor.
One by 3, one by 3.
Bagas board them.
2 by 4, 1 by 6.
Neighbor, bagas board them. And look at the Jamaica Labour Party now. Look at the Jamaica Labour Party now, neighbor. Neighbor, look at a Pernell Charles Jr. down there in Clarendon. Statesman, when you look at that man. Look at a Nesta Morgan. Neighbor, look at someone like a Nesta Morgan, neighbor, who was coming from being someone like, I remember when I just see Nesta Morgan was like a cameraman behind the Prime Minister and the neighbor.
Yes.
He was in that
He did a great job there too as well, Scratchy.
Yes. And I look at Nesta Morgan right now, Minister of Works, neighbor, the People's National Party, neighbor. That's why young people cannot follow them, neighbor, the People's National Party, them eat them young people, you know.
Yes.
Well,
yeah, but any young person who go over the People's National Party, if you go over there with little sense, you're going to come back home with no sense. Case in point, Damian Crawford, Dayton Campbell, and we can go on and on, neighbor. How many bright prospects? Raymond Price. How many bright prospects? Neighbor, the young people them who were so bright, neighbor, them just become a shadow of themselves since them join the People's National Party.
yes. You don't think Damian Crawford is a bright star again anymore?
Yes, he's bright and everything, neighbor, but being bright alone doesn't cut it. Being bright alone doesn't cut it, neighbor, and that's all him have bright, nothing else. Damian Crawford does have bright and nothing else. He's a gimmicks man.
He's not
and this is not, and not all the time we want to hear about gimmickry. He's a gimmick. It's a Dayton Campbell, not Dayton Campbell. Damian Crawford is the Tanto Blacks of the politics.
I was
you know,
about to say.
Yeah, you know what dancehall artist named Tanto Blacks?
Yes.
No, sir.
That is Damian Crawford in the politics. He's the Tanto Blacks.
Tell me about Tanto Blacks.
Tanto Blacks is a comedian artist name, but when him come on stage, it's pure gimmicks and laugh and make the crowd laugh. Him run and him drop on it. That is Damian Crawford. He's the Tanto Blacks of the politics. Yes. You might call the Prime Minister about craving here. Bagalax Damian Crawford, I call the Prime Minister about craving here.
He's our newest up and coming.
All I can say to the People's National Party.
He's the one who said the Prime Minister cut at the little girl's ribbon.
Not the little girl, his daughter. and him give the Prime Minister a new name now, neighbor, craving here.
Hold on here, Scratchy. Boy, I tell you. This is fantastic. Oh boy. Sorry. So Tanto Blacks is a comedian. Yeah?
He's a Jamaican artist, neighbor. He's a little gimmicks artist. So now you more laugh more than listen to the lyrics. So they see and see you more laugh than listen to the lyrics. You more laugh than listen to the lyrics when they see Tanto Blacks. Just like when they see Damian Crawford, they laugh more than listen to the lyrics.
Crawford is a joker.
Yeah, Joe. Neighbor, that man need to go form a comedy boss, neighbor. The man could have been a great stand-up comedian. I think that guy could have reached out a comedy, you know. That guy could have been a great stand-up comedian.
I was very excited.
Neighbor, Kevin Hart don't have nothing on that man. I can't find ticket don't have nothing on Damien Craft.
True. Very true.
And I see Damien Crawford, neighbor. The reason why I'm here beating Damien Crawford love takes it on my prime minister. And he's nowhere near my prime minister. Because you, Damien Crawford, you have aspiration to become the leader of the People's National Party. And I want to tell you this, sir. You have a problem. You will never be the leader of the party, of the People's National Party. Because when you join the People's National Party, Damien Crawford, you had a bigger and a better standing than the current General Secretary. And the current General Secretary come kick with your foot and hold a bigger position in the party right now than you, and a bigger talking in the party than you, and have more standing in the party than you. And if the party should lose the election, he is not going to stand by and watch you become no leader because he might be saying bigger and better than you right now. That is to Damien Crawford. You and the Gen Sec for your party need because him fly around you. Remember, say you was a one PNP in a day, man. Remember, he's a one PNP. And he's a riser. He's not going to get that. Yeah, but risers not going to let go the party again, you know. So PNP doom, you know. Because the risers, them have a hold on the party and they're not going to let it go.
You don't like how you attack your prime minister?
Huh?
You don't like when you attack Andrew?
No, neighbor. I don't like it, neighbor. It hurt me to my core when I hear that man talk and I like him and disrespect the Prime Minister, Damien Crawford. And I just know neither years you do it, neighbor. Years you do this. You're man for you. You're on the Prime Minister level, no time, sir. You can't, you're the Prime Minister material. You was the one
who... I heard you say one time... Yeah?
Huh? Yeah, but this man, you in this sound bite. This man come
on to... he's brighter than...
Him bright, neighbor. Him say him never in a grade 6 brighter than the Prime Minister. That's what he said. Neighbor is a gimmicks man. But this man come and say him prefer take a haircut than take a pay cut. Let's say the man a comedian. Him say him prefer take a haircut than a pay cut.
Can't believe it.
That guy is a comedian.
Yeah.
So guess what now, neighbor? Those are the guys. Yes, those are the guys, neighbor, who make the PNP meeting so crowded. Because the PNP, that's what they go for, the gimmicks and the theatrics from him and the cursing from the Gen Sec. And that is why, neighbor, if you notice, neighbor, I want you to notice, because we haven't taken notice of this, neighbor. Have you realized that we have seen a tone down in the Gen Sec rhetoric?
Slightly,
Have you realized that, neighbor? Why you think they make the Gen Sec of the People's National Party step back, neighbor? Because the neighbor, when they go to their meeting, persons are listening, are looking forward to hear from the Gen Sec more than the leader of the party, neighbor. That's why they pull back the Gen Sec.
Oh, is that what is happening?
Yes, neighbor, because it was a Gen Sec attack dog, and he was the one who was coming with a hot point and make the meeting can reel up and shout up and then catch them vibes. So he was the one who was doing that, and they realized that no, the Gen Sec seems like he's him and more the leader of the party. He have a more, when it comes to meeting, persons are more looking forward to the Gen Sec than the leader. That's why they pull back the Gen Sec.
Didn't realize that at all. You're a brilliant political observer.
Yes.
Great.
That's why they pull back the Gen Sec, neighbor.
Well, we have someone online. What is his name?
Yes, Horatio, come here, my brother. Horatio, that's my political brother, you know?
Scratchy, I hear night, everybody. You're on point, bro. You're on point. You can know that you come from the building of the Labour Party. You're on point. You're on point, bro. I hear listening to you. I enjoy listening to you, You're on point.
Horatio, man. Well, we show the PNP then, man.
Yeah, man. You're coming from the belly of the Labour Party, man. You're on point.
You know the belly, man. Remember, so we come from the strongest JLP constituency.
Yes. And neighbor, I must tell you, I listened to your take. I was at work while listening to your tape coming home, and you're on point, neighbor. Because I keep on, I hear the Gen Sec of the party say that you have many people out there that would not put up a V sign, and many people out there that will not wear.
I will never put on a green shirt. Sir.
And never put on a green shirt. But I can tell you this, I can guarantee that yes, they go into the poll to vote.
I do not consider myself upper class nor middle class. I'm a
Tapanaris. You're a Tapanaris.
Nor am I a Tapanaris. I am in the low class. I'm in the low class. I'm among people that are middle, 73, that I will never see them in a green armband or a green shirt, yes. And they'll never turn up at a meeting.
Yes.
But you see those people in those schemes, sir, those housing schemes, those professionals. I spoke to a teacher here last week, and he told me his staff room, all teachers are supported. All any street, because all of them support a vote. But for the Labour Party, I suspect that its supporters are at home.
But neighbor, you ever listen to the Prime Minister when he start to speak? He always say this, neighbor. He's not talking to the people in front of him, only talking to the people in front of him. He have a wider audience of people that is unlike. That is more true.
Very much sorry.
All politicians should be aware of that, sir.
Neighbor, but to cut you, today I was on a call with someone in Jamaica, neighbor, and they were in a taxi. They were in a taxi, neighbor. And I was on the phone with them same way while they were in the taxi, neighbor. And the taxi man was driving his taxi. And I hear that the taxi man was giving out things and I said, what do we give out? And them said the taxi man, neighbor, you know I hear the taxi man say? The taxi man said the fare is $180. And the person said the taxi man and neighbor, the taxi man taxi him have more than 150 JLP armbands, and him say if you take a band, it's 150.
What you say, running a JLP? This one.
Mr. The man run a taxi Jamaica girl, and the man say if you take a Labour right band, the fare is not 180, drop it to 150.
And can I say something, Mr. Scratchy? The people, you see the people in the diaspora, they appreciate this governmentality, you know. They appreciate it. I don't know if I give but the scenario the other day where I was going through we call those people the TSI, what them name was searching back when you go to
TSA.
Right. And I was having a choose Jamaica pan. But the person who I was talking to, they have a Jamaican accent, but they are not from Jamaica. But they have family from Jamaica. And they asked me about what it means. But the person who asked me about what it means know what it means. So I explained to them that is a political slogan. And the person said to me, if I wasn't in my uniform and in the position that I am in now, you'd have to give me that band in your hand. And I said, how could I give you this band in your hand and you're not from Jamaica? And the person started explaining to me, he started explaining so fast in so many details. He said to me that I am proud to be a Jamaican. And Sketchy, can I tell you something? I was skipping and dancing through that airport, wearing Jamaican my sleeve. I feel so good to know that somebody on the outside looking in and see that this government are doing such a tremendous job.
Wonderful job, man.
On that note,